gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
Yo, I'm looking at this shit. This dude, this motherfucker. Yo, this dude is. I can't believe.
So we got Michael Rappaport filming the security guard in Rite Aid, watching a super gremlin just walk out. And obviously they have a don't confront policy, so the security is just for show. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to try and stop anything. Maybe if he's feeling like a hero, he might put his foot out there to try and trip somebody up. But other than that, he letting these super gremlins go. And he knows why, because these super gremlins are usually packing. And they will not hesitate to blow your brains out over some lotion, some Bath and Body Works soap, and maybe some gummies and some candies.
I'm seeing this shit. This motherfucker. Yo. This fucking guy just filled his 2 bags up with everything in Rite Aid right here.
And look, this guy is still looking back at Michael Rappaport. Mike, you better chill out. You better chill out, because these dudes will not hesitate to clap you. Right now, you're violating all types of street codes. And then by you putting this online, you are showing that, hey, it's sweet in New York. You can walk into a Rite Aid and walk out with anything that you want. I'm telling you how these super gremlins see it. I'm giving you the perspective of a super gremlin. Michael Rappaport is lucky that he's still alive.
80th and 1st Avenue is walking down the street like shit is Gucci. Look at me in my face like, what's good? I was watching him the whole time. My man just went Christmas shopping in January. He had the condoms.
And he busting slack. I mean, these super gremlins are just no care in the world.
The shampoo.
Police have released new images of the man accused of pushing a 62-year-old man onto subway tracks at the Fulton Street station. The suspect can be seen coming off an escalator. Investigators say that he...
Look at this super gremlin. Look at him. These dudes. Now, this ain't the same as the homeless man pushing the Asian lady. No. For one, he pushed a man onto the subway. You know, an elderly man. But still, he targeted a man. For two, this boy is not homeless. He finna go back to one of them boroughs right now. Get him some chicken noodle soup at the crib.
He shoved the 62-year-old just as the train approached on Sunday morning. The victim managed to survive but suffered cuts to his leg and bruising.
6:17 and happening today. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine and members of the New York City Council will call for barriers to be placed on subway platforms. They want the...
Wow, barriers for super gremlins. Notice how they never even thought that it was necessary to have barriers. You know, it's kind of unsafe, but no one would ever really jump out in the tracks, right? Nobody would ever. I just saw some. What the hell? I just saw some weird shit just go down. My neighbor across the street just went in my neighbor next door's mailbox. He's an elderly super gremlin. I'm gonna tell you what, that's why I got a lock on my mailbox. If he come in my mailbox, I'm slapping the fire out of him. But anyways, that was crazy. I'm sorry. That distracted me hella. But anyways, what the hell was I even talking about? Oh, yeah. Notice how they never even thought it necessary to have barriers until these super gremlins started wilding out here.
The MTA to immediately begin a pilot program for barriers at stations that have been experiencing violent platform-related incidents. The barriers prevent riders from being pushed.
Violent platform-related incidents. Let that sink in.
Onto the tracks and keep track clear of litter and trespassers.
9:21 and police dealing with a series of subway scares. They say yesterday
Damn, she tough.
morning someone pushed a 62-year-old man onto the tracks. Thankfully, the oncoming train was able to stop before potentially hitting him. It comes a little more than a week after a similar shove. Back on January 15th, a woman was pushed in front of an oncoming.
And I'm telling you, we got a whole bunch of serial killing super gremlins out here. Because nobody is going to label this as a copycat. But it probably was. Dude saw that a homeless dude pushed an Asian lady into the subway on the news and, you know, thought he'd give it a try. This is the super gremlin mindset. So we got a lot of copycat, quasi, if you will, serial killers in the community.
Train and died. A man was arrested in what police call a random attack. He's facing second-degree murder charges.
Police releasing new surveillance video of the latest subway attack that happened just before 11:30 Sunday morning inside the Fulton Street station in Lower Manhattan.
These dudes so bold, they ain't even wearing masks. He ain't even wearing his COVID mask.
62-year-old man was shoved from the platform to the tracks as a southbound A train entered the station. Now, the victim, who was struck by the train.
And I'm telling you guys, he was probably so hyped that he did that. Like, he walking out of this subway, he felt he was so cool. I'm telling you, like, he felt super, like, when he pushed that dude into the tracks, this super gremlin felt super gangster. I'm telling you, like, he like, man, I'm a motherfucking G, man. I just pushed it. He probably went back to his hood, man. I just pushed this dude in the subway tracks for looking at me crazy. Bro, I'm super gangster. I'm telling you, this is the mindset of a super gremlin.
Was able to go into a space under the platform. Fortunately, he only suffered a cut to his leg and some pain and bruising. Now, the suspect got away. Now, if you have any information, if this individual looks familiar to you, police are waiting for your call at Crime Stoppers, 800-577-TIP.
In Manhattan, charging the man accused of randomly shoving a woman to her death at a Times Square subway station with second-degree murder. Many New Yorkers are afraid of returning to the subway as crime surges in the city. And now, newly elected Mayor Eric Adams is facing criticism for not doing enough to address violent crime.
And what I will say, he just got sworn in. He just got sworn in. But if he implemented policies that actually worked, you could turn the city around within a week. Honestly, I believe that. Now, there will be a lot of super gremlins locked up, and it'll look on paper like this a disproportionate amount of super gremlins being locked up ever since Eric Adams implemented, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I mean, I don't think he's gonna do what needs to be done, but hey, if you're watching this video, Mayor Adams, stop playing identity politics. Stop worrying about the pandemic and the procedure and all this stuff, and start worrying about these super gremlins who are literally pushing people on train tracks. I mean, it's like this is like out of a Bugs Bunny movie or something. You know, when you get tied to the tracks and then except now these super gremlins are just timing it and pushing your ass into the train. That is crazy. That's crazy. And New Yorkers have responded. They're not taking the subways as much anymore. Transit has gone down.
After running as the law and order candidate. Let's bring in New York City Councilman Joe Borelli. And the mayor was really criticized after that horrific shoving death of Michelle Go when he said that the subways are safe. People just have the perception that they're not safe.
Wow, he did not say that. Oh yeah, he's a figurehead. He's a figurehead. We need somebody who's serious to get in there. Come on.
And then the other day, he dramatically walked that back saying this. Listen here.
On day one, I took the subway system. I felt unsafe. I saw homeless everywhere. People were yelling on the trains.
Tell them how many homeless super gremlin you've seen. It's a lot of homeless black men who have no excuse to be homeless. I'm going to just tell you that right now. Able-bodied black men who have no excuse to be homeless. You know, I'm dealing with this type of shit in my family. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to curse. This type of stuff in my family, and trust me, these guys have a choice.
It was a feeling of disorder.
He says there's a feeling of disorder. I didn't feel safe on the subway. And I'm thinking, you're the mayor. Do something about it.
Look, John, he's right to backtrack from his initial statement, and everything he said is factually accurate. The subways are, both in fact and in perception, less safe than they were just a few years.
Look at this crazy Negro. Yo. This super gremlin is out of his god darn mind.
Years ago. We've always had subway crime. You know, we have to be clear about that. The difference is we tolerate it now. The subways are not to be homeless shelters. They're not mental institutions. They're not drug rehab centers. But yet progressive dogma indicates that it's some kind of moral failure if we ask those people who fit in these categories to not ride the subway, or to remove them, or to not let them sleep there.
Remove them. Don't let them ride. If they ask you for some money, slap the fire out them. I don't know. That's my mentality, bro. I'm not going. I'm fed up, bro. I'm fed up. And I done been tried by too many homeless dudes. Hey, brother, you give me some change? They sound nice at first. Hey, brother, you give me some change? I'm trying to get me a meal, or I'm trying to get something to eat. Nah, bro, I can't, I can't spare none today. Whatever. All right, then, you then. Like, cursing me out, bro. Only reason I ain't slapped fire out some of these homeless men is because I didn't want to touch them.
Unfortunately, Mayor Adams has to drown out a lot of criticism from his own party, not from my party, but criticism from his own party, the Democrats, and he has to put his head down, put more cops on the subway station, and call out the people in his own party, like DA Alvin Bragg, and the state legislature who passes things like bail reform, this way that our cops and his cops could work together in putting some of these people behind bars.
You know, I lived in New York City for a number of years. I took the subway all over, and I mean, that's one of the miracles of New York, is you can literally get anywhere in the city on the subway, and for the most part, I felt absolutely safe. This was a number of years ago, but when you talk...
That man talking about the damn 50s. No, I'm just kidding. He ain't that old, but yeah, it was a long time ago, bruh. Don't do that.
About tolerating crime in the city, and I know you don't mean it this way, but I'm just wondering if people start to tolerate crime in the city. When you have a 40-year-old woman at 9:20 in the morning on a Sunday shoved to her death in front of an R train at Times Square by a homeless man, how could you ever even begin to tolerate that?
And I'm going to tell you what, the community will make every excuse for this. Trust me. Trust me. Don't get me wrong. When I'm not on this channel, when I'm not on the YouTubes and doing whatever, bro, I spend plenty of time in the community. Plenty of time. I don't live there, but I spend time there. And when you discuss things like this, why was she standing so closely to the subway? Why was she standing so close? That's what they'll say. Not why did this super gremlin do what he did, but why was she standing so close?
No, and it's unfortunate, but this is sort of the long-term effect of the Democratic Party's one-party control of a city. You know, the liberals and progressives, all they do is talk about the people who are on the subway, who are the homeless, who are the mentally ill, always talking about how the treatment options are not there, how we need to keep cops from putting their hands on anyone who might threaten people. But in reality, they've forgotten about the commuters. They've forgotten about the millions of New Yorkers and visitors who rely on things like the New York subway every day. The party has to start prioritizing those people over the perpetrators.
Like I said, maybe that real estate agent in Miami was up to something. I'm just saying. Maybe he was on to something. Maybe he had it right and we all had it wrong. Maybe that shouldn't have been a big deal. He was getting his fix off, you know, he had an itch. His trigger finger was itching, you know what I mean? Like, he was listening to some hip-hop. He probably got cursed out by a couple homeless dudes, too. Let's keep it a buck. Hey, brother, you give me some change, man. You looking nice in that suit. Oh, yeah, man. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it, brother. Nah, but can you give me some change, though? Look, I don't even got cash. I only care. Man, put you in. Them dudes in Miami, them homeless dudes in Miami are aggressive. I was there for New Year's. They're aggressive. Seriously.
You know, there's a common thread here, and that is homeless people who perpetrate these crimes, many of them mentally ill. There was the shoving death of Michelle Go at the hands of a homeless person who's mentally ill. There's the beating death of Sandra Shells, a 70-year-old in Los Angeles who was beaten to death by a homeless woman. And then, of course, we have the horrible murder of Brianna Kupfer by a homeless person who was out on $50,000 bond, wanted for a crime in Charleston.
How are homeless dudes getting out on a $50K bond? But you homeless, right? This is what I can't get behind.
And you wonder, how was he ever walking the streets of Los Angeles?
Look, John, you make a great point. I mean, we sort of know who the people are causing a lot of these crimes are on the subway. You don't have to be a social worker to figure out who's a threat and who's not.
But what do you do about it? Because we've just seen an explosion of homelessness in America.
Yeah, we have to, first of all, diagnose the issue with police officers, because these might be unsafe situations at the first outset, not with social workers. But we also need to change our confinement laws. Some people are a threat to themselves. Some people, as we saw with this recent pushing, are a threat to other people. Yeah. We simply can't allow and tolerate and allow this to go on in perpetuity.
Wow. You know, a lot of people have been looking over their shoulders on the subway. I did on occasion, certain times of the day, but now you got to really watch where you are and stay away from that track before you get on a train. Joe Borelli, thanks so much.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.